Okay, so good afternoon to our group members in this group, the Filipino Space Enthusiast Group. Parang
Yeah.
nakalimutan ko na yata yung whole name ng group Apologies. So yung name ng ating group is the Filipino Spaceflight and Space Exploration Enthusiast Group. So we're now starting off with a sort of a series that will feature members of the group who are actively engaged in space-related research or endeavors, no? Any sort of endeavor, whether it be a hobby or an interest group or even something na more on the artistic side of things, because this is also a blend of art and science, no? Sometimes our endeavors, when we are interested in space, there's also a blending of art and science because we're
Okay.
featuring none other than Sir Fred, no? Si Wilfredo Pardorla. Did I pronounce that correctly, sir?
Yes, Pardorla, sir. It's a little bit of tongue twister.
Ah. So, Sir Fred Pardorla is from Cebu, no? So, he started his interest in science, especially in astronomy, since he was 4 years old. So, like eager kids, like many of you here, the members of this group, he was really eager and interested in science, astronomy, space science, and he topped science quiz bowls and related contests while he was a child. So then he started his teaching career, and he graduated bachelor in secondary education major in English, cum laude at Talisay City College. Talisay City is also in Cebu, no? In Cebu
Yes,
Island.
sir.
So he then continued his path in science through diploma in environmental science in Allison. Is this correct? No, Allison,
Yes, sir.
Ireland. In Ireland. Okay, so this is like a distance learning
Yes, sir.
thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so he got his units in planetary studies at Arizona State University in Arizona, USA. So also
Yes, sir.
distance through distance learning. So Sir Fred shared success with his co-mentors and student researchers at St. Cecilia's College, leading the weather balloon flight team in 2016. So bagging it as the first academic institution in the Philippines to launch a high altitude balloon into near space. So that's really something, no? To what's this, to achieve that sort of endeavor. So together with collaborators, he ventured into model rocketry. So that this is going to be the main thing that we're going to be talking about because of your interest in rocketry, and since our group is very much interested in space and in what's this, in rockets. So parang dito tayo talaga mafo-focus on
Wow.
your endeavors in rocketry. But
That's
also,
exciting.
yeah, but also he has led a project called the Karunungan. No, it's a habitat. Basically, this Karunungan is like an analog to the habitat that astronauts would live in when they are in space, right? Right, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, but in your case, for the Karunungan, it's more like a what's this, a analog, meaning it's a smaller scale. So instead of course, actual human beings, instead of you're using what
Ar-
what what did you use as your analog for human occupants of that habitat?
yes, we were using laboratory mice. So we were
Lab
utilizing.
mice. Okay.
Yes.
So yan. So I'll be showing pictures of that later. So but before we jump into that, sir, tell us more about your interest in in space, in rockets. So how did that go about? Right now nga pala, before you begin, I'm showing to the viewers a picture of you igniting,
Yeah.
or no, setting up one of your
Oh, nice, nice.
rockets, no, at St. Cecilia's, no, on the grounds with onlookers. So, and I've actually seen one of Dr. Rogel Cese's videos when he was visiting your. He did a live stream, by the way, of one of your launches, and I think I still have that recorded somewhere.
Wow.
One of your
That's great. That's
launches, yes. So, how did this begin? Can you tell us a bit of background on how your interest in rockets began?
Actually, it started when I was still 4 years old, and then when I was a kid, I really love astronomy, especially on rocketry and most especially on space. I've got this book in which it's on Invidulus. Actually, that's when my father brought me to that ship. Actually, it's a floating library, and
Ah, yeah,
then as he goes
floating
into
library.
some religious books, and then
Is this the Doulos ship?
yeah, yes, sir.
Okay,
The
yes,
Invidulus as of now,
yeah.
yes. So as of that moment, he tried to get some religious books, and then he was in awe when he saw me like reaching one of the books for space. Actually, it's on about space stations, and actually, as of now, I am. When he told me on that reminiscence, I was dumbfounded. Then oh wow, when I was 4, I'm already doing this. Like, and then it goes up to elementary and high school, and then even though I've got major in English in college already, I am still not. I am still continuing on doing this research as I even done rocket launches using itong mga quittiser
Yes,
during December. So what I did is ang
fireworks.
kanang mga yung mga fireworks is I've got the explosive part of it when I was still in high school, and then I've put fins in it, and then I put nose cone on it, and then light it, and wow,
I actually
that's the beginning of
Yes,
it.
I actually did that, but I used baby rockets.
Wow.
I was too scared to use the quitties.
The big one,
Yeah, the
yeah.
big one. So I was using the smaller rockets, and I would do the same thing. I would cut off part where
Mhm.
it explodes, so it will
Mhm.
be safer, and
Mhm.
put nose cones or whatever I feel it would to make it more aerodynamic. Because of course,
Mhm.
usually they're blunt, diba?
Yeah, yeah.
The tip of those rockets. So I'm actually showing also to the viewers right now a picture of you operating a Newtonian telescope.
Wow.
So so talagang in line no
Yeah.
with your interests, astronomy and what's
Mhm.
this rocketry. Well,
Mhm.
it's funny that you mentioned that your background is actually in English, no?
Yes,
Because
yes.
I don't know if you're aware, pero it's we have
Yes,
something in
you are
common.
also English.
Yes, I'm actually
Oh.
a my background is actually languages, no, and
Mhm.
teaching English grammar because I'm an AB English graduate from the Mindanao State University. So it's funny because we have something in common, meaning we are very interested in these sort of things. Yet our background is a little bit different or somewhat surprising for others to know, especially me when I get involved with such activities. People keep wondering why is it that is it the same with you? That do you encounter?
Yes, of course, sir. I
Yeah.
even got some criticisms, especially on teaching science on my first year, and then that's that time that I have this. I've accepted it as constructive criticism, and also which also serves as a catalyst of making online studies, and then
Yes.
I've seen many opportunities through that.
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Indeed. I myself encountered people who come from other backgrounds that are not non-technical, but who are actually in technical fields. So it that actually encouraged me a lot meeting these people. And when you hear stories, I believe like you, I am an
yeah.
avid fan of emerging space companies like SpaceX, for instance.
Yes, yes,
And
I'm very
yeah, okay. With that,
I'm
with
also an avid fan of that. Yeah,
yeah,
like
and
SpaceX, like Blue Origin.
I can tell because I'm going to show the viewers another picture of you here. I'm showing them a picture of you reading a book.
With
And
Elon Musk.
yeah, yeah. Well, is that the title of the book, Elon Musk, or is that
Yes,
like a
it's a biography
it's a
of Elon
biography?
Musk.
Yeah,
Actually,
by
it's
another author. Yeah.
uh,
So it's not an autobiography.
it's an autobiography.
Yeah. So
And
yeah, yeah.
I
Going
bought
back.
that one at MOA,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
it's the last copy of that book also. Mhm.
So yeah, we should not really stereotype people now. In my belief, endeavors that require a lot of minds to really make it work require people from many disciplines. and
Yes, yes, I
many
agree to
talents.
that.
Okay.
That's only this is also a message to our viewers also that it is possible to delve with space technology applications even though that you're on different fields.
Yes.
Yeah, as long as you're experts of your fields,
Yes.
that's good.
Yes. So tell us.
On my physics classes also I've told them that this is a very nice curriculum also on senior high school because as early as high schools is you can already know what will be your fields later because on my case also if I only know that there are also these fields that is also in connection to space flights because
Yes.
the only agency I know that is connected to it is only the Pag-asa
Yes.
and
Yes.
so that's it.
I'm going to ask you questions now regarding the rockets that you
Okay,
have
okay,
been
sir.
built. So you have built, how many rockets so far have you built in your estimate? Ever since you started building rockets at St. Cecilia's?
On my estimate, it's about 20, is it?
20
Or
rockets already.
mga 20 plus. So some of it I would explain this to my class because the the complexity also of rocketry is quite high because like I gave them some of the estimates. Like we are building it from about 3 to 4 weeks, and then
Okay.
that will be judged with different people from all other groups. Like it's only the flight of about 4 to 7 seconds, and then when it blows, then it ends. Like I have my student like I said, oh man, my 400 to 500 pesos all gone
Yeah.
in just in just a few seconds. So
So it seems it's hard for them to appreciate the fact that
yeah.
they're more concerned about the material, material loss rather than what was gained in terms of probably know-how or understanding behind the principles of rocketry and so on.
Yes, that is one of the things that I've explained to my candidate because it's on early processes pa. And then I've told them that it doesn't mean that when you go back to zero, like you go back to working on the very start, like from scratch, that you started from zero. Not,
Yes, of
but
course.
you are already doing this in iterative manner, which it is just like engineering talaga. Like you go from curiosity also to discovery and then it's a cycle of it and
Yeah.
then the more you do it the more it improves.
Yeah. And you get better as time goes on. You
Mm.
learn from your mistakes.
Mm.
So I'm not sure if you're familiar with that computer game, yeah, that program, or maybe you've
Sure
seen
ba?
it, yung Kerbal Space Program. Again, that's one of the probably future topics that we can, talk about
mm.
because what I also plan later would be more of a discussion talaga, a group discussion. In fact,
Oo.
you've been asking if maybe during this discussion you can also introduce your team. So we will
Oh yeah.
reserve that for another time wherein we can have like a group discussion, more of like a
Mm.
brainstorming wherein it will be like a Skype conference call siguro, and we can have more
Mga
people in.
video conference like yan.
Yeah, mas masaya yun, di ba? Because we have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of people and then they're exchanging notes.
That is also what we're doing with ASU. Like, there's a session wherein we're doing video conferences, like from different parts of the world, with my classmates also with
Yes.
them.
So the thing is, the reason why I mentioned Kerbal because yeah, in a way, although there's an initial investment because you have to buy the program, you have to buy the
Mhm.
game. But the thing is, it's cheap because once you make the initial investment, you can just keep launching and launching and learning about rocketry without actually, spending several hundreds or thousands of pesos on the material and then watching it all go up into flames afterwards. Did you try experiments on reusability? Oh, some of your rockets, I believe, reusable naman talaga if they survive, no?
Yes, yes.
Pero
One of these rockets, I have. I'll try to pan it.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
sige, yan,
These are some
pakita mo.
of the
Wow, ayun
rockets
sila, oh. Yeah,
that is
I
on
see there.
display.
Yeah.
So
So those are survivors. They survived the
yes, sir.
launches.
Because we also make our own recovery system for our
Okay,
rockets.
so it's usually when you say recovery, parachute, no?
Parachute, yeah,
So
yeah.
you deploy a chute how is it deployed? So there is like a charge also, a small parang
Yes, oo. So we started with a charge, but there's quite a way problem with that because mostly dun sa charge siya mag-fail. Like the charge is quite strong, like the charge. So we do like we upgraded into Tommy timers, and then next to more like we we bought a circuit in which is really for rocketry talaga. Parang nag-import na kami sa US.
okay. So to deploy, that circuit
Yeah.
is for the deployment of the recovery system, the chute or whatever.
So what is the latest that we have is we have already this parang all-in-one, parang may avionics na siya. So
Okay.
parang it will already record the temperature, velocity, and then we have and it also has the drogue chute and the main parachutes also
Wow,
that will be
galing.
deployed by that
Yeah.
one.
Because
circuit.
it is basically already an evolved hobby, no, in other countries.
Yes.
Unlike here, ano,
Oo.
hindi ba? Is it already? Do you think evolved hobby na siya in other countries? Do you agree?
Yes,
Mm-mm.
because what is really good about, like, for example, in the US, they have Estes rockets. So
Yeah.
that means that they have already their motors, and then so what they will do is they will just make the airframes, they will just make the fins, and basically we have the nose cone, and they have this parang safety procedures like, in terms of the motors, and it could be already bought somehow. But here in the Philippines, we will really go from scratch and building that motor here. And of course, it's a tedious process. Like,
I understand. Yes.
uh,
But did you see any opportunity while you were? Of course, you became aware that there were already pre-made modules, no, for these things. Like maybe you have modules that will. Yung sinabi mong module kanina, it's like an all-in-one thing. But you can also purchase them separately. Like maybe there's a telemetry module, right? Then there is one for the deployment of the chute.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Ay, wala naman tong throttle kasi it's solid motor, no? Once you ignite, you can never turn it off. It's just going to burn all the way. By the way, to the listeners, we are also going into that later, meaning we're going to discuss talaga basic rocketry, because I believe when we start talking about terms like this, like solid motors versus a liquid engine or a liquid motor, yung iba medyo at a loss. Because some of our members actually became members of the group because they want to learn more about rocketry. So medyo siguro talagang hindi pa familiar with the terminologies being used. Pero as we do all these things, yung mga ganito nga, kaya nga I felt na we really had to start something like this for the group para hindi naman masayang yung reason why people join the group if they really want to learn more about rocketry and space. But then we do discussions about these topics, no? Be more active about learning. So yun, have you tried the wait before I go into that. So your rockets, yeah, the one you showed earlier, so they survived the yung initial na nila launches. So but have you tried looking into parang making homegrown versions of some of the components or particularly yung sa electronics? Have you ever tapped into people who might be knowledgeable or have a talent in trying to replicate the systems that you've seen? Yun nga, I mean, that's the key, di ba, for like maybe cost cutting. Na instead of buying it outside, why not produce it locally?
We started with that process on our high altitude balloon, like for example, the life support systems. To cut really the cost of the electronics is we're the ones already who are making it. We are using Arduino platforms and also
Arduino.
Raspberry.
Yes.
So
Raspberry
that is all. That is more of a parang mas nindot siya if we have the sensors, and
Yes.
then we will have the Arduino component for it. So mas kuan siya, mas nindot siya.
Okay.
Like on our case, we are doing a high altitude balloon life support system, and we really wanted to patent it. But the problem is if you will just buy modules, so that's a that you will have a hard time getting a patent on it. Right?
Okay. So yeah, because I was thinking that alone that alone, if like somebody who's interested, I know there's some
Yes.
members here who are
Uh,
EE or ECE graduates,
yes.
or those who are involved in the electronic stuff, no,
Mm.
avionics and so on. Now, when they see rockets and they find out that rockets require such components, maybe that's where their talents can be of use, no, to put into use. Try to make very simple guidance systems and so on, and
Well, what
even
we
yung
did also is, in terms of it, we had this research on our practical research too in senior high school and also on physics. So what we do is we also do our Arduino, like that they have the irrigation system, and we have for biofeedback for the heart and the brain. But
okay.
one of the groups is very interested also on rocketry. So they develop also the avionics for the rocketry
Ah,
using Arduino.
homegrown. So,
Yes, yes. As of now,
so
there's already that development here.
okay. So they basically did the circuitry. So they designed
Yes.
the circuits for it. Wow,
Mm.
impressive, no? So yeah, if people start becoming aware that there are such endeavors or projects, and maybe they want to be involved, it would be nice also if later we can share to them resources or links, or even get to what's this, contact these people, so that if they want to be involved, yeah, it could be a good catalyst for them to learn
Mm.
more about the electronic side of rocketry, either as a hobby or as a research and so on. Okay, so is was there any oh wait, hindi pa pala to. So when you were launching your rockets, what was the highest altitude achieved? Did you have like telemetry to measure the altitude? Kung ano yung highest na na-reach ninyo?
So what we did is quite of a manual telemetry. So what we did is we have like a protractor in which it will be it's the basics of Pythagorean theorem, in
Okay.
which you get the angle theta of
Ah,
the pan, and then you get the distance from the angle theta to also to your rocket, and then
okay.
you will know the altitude of the rocket
Yes.
as you are going to track it using that.
Yeah. So it's more of a
We get
visual.
about
It's a visual
mm,
method.
mm,
Visual ang measurement of the
oh,
altitude.
oh.
Plus
So
maybe the time from t minus, I mean t plus, when you
mm,
started so you compute the time. It's funny that
uh,
you mentioned that, because I was actually trying to solve a problem once on trying to figure out line of sight for a remotely piloted aircraft, and that
mm,
involving that angle, and what is the
yeah.
altitude from that
Uh,
point where it's
uh,
flying over. That's interesting that you're also using that method. So far you haven't used as payload some kind of yung talagang telemetry device that could measure altitude.
Actually, that's our next plan,
Okay.
especially on our awarded research already by the UST Fisher. So
Okay.
that is already our next plan.
Yeah, you can. It's very easy. You can just get the technology from those who are
Mm,
doing the RC, especially
mm,
yung tinatawag na FPV flying, first person view, because those systems actually have the OSD, or the on screen displays.
yes.
So you can actually have cameras, what's this, that are showing to you in real time what's going on with the rocket, right? No, what altitude it
Mm.
has reached and so on. That's pretty exciting, no? If you can
Oh,
marry that with the RC. And
yeah,
speaking,
we also use FPV systems also on our high altitude balloon,
oh,
life support
there. See,
system. Just
you've already tried it na nga pala.
uh,
So it would be nice to see you applying that to your rockets, di ba?
wow,
Di
that's a
ba?
great suggestion.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that would
sir.
be exciting if you can try that. And the reason why I'm asking you this, because in line with my interest and the research I'm involved with, there are actually, I was browsing through different types of what's this, RC or FPV type of
Mm.
platforms. There's actually one na there's this I don't know how that 3 meters yata yung wingspan nung ano na yun, FPV platform. It actually releases a smaller craft, and that smaller craft is rocket powered. Oh,
Oh,
so yung
nice.
system niya, it's very similar to you remember Spaceship One and Spaceship Two by
Yes,
Virgin
so
Galactic.
by Virgin Galactic, actually they
Oh,
have already the third launch during July
yeah.
28th.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
really great news.
So there is actually what's this, an
An RC
FPV
version of it.
system. Yeah, an FPV
Wow.
platform, unmanned, na parang drone, not releases. I'll give you the link. No, after this, I can show you the link for that. There's actually a video of it in YouTube nga, and there's a mothership, which is a standard RC 2-engine RC aircraft, electric, and then it will release that smaller craft, and the smaller craft is actually rocket powered. So hindi lang sinabi dun sa video on how high it flew, pero there's this nice segment wherein it's already ignited, the rocket motor is ignited, and it's the launch, the way it launches is just like Spaceship One or Spaceship Two. Ganun yung yung launch
There's a miniature
profile.
version pala, no?
There's like a mini version of that, and it's really nice for people who are interested in that sort of launch capability, no, yung airborne launch, because if you may recall, some existing launch satellite launch systems are actually launched that way. If you're familiar with Pegasus, I think it's the Pegasus system. It's actually an aircraft that launches it from altitude, from a very high altitude. You launch it, and then it will basically get rid of stages 1 and 2 of a larger rocket. Yung
Yes, so thereby already reducing also the fuel that is required.
Yeah, the weight. The weight mostly is fuel, is actually, di ba? Kaya yon. So kaya nga you can have a lighter payload and launch it from the upper atmosphere. So yeah, even balloons, di ba? That's why I was really excited about your balloon idea, kasi people have been trying to do that, di ba?
They call it raccoons. Rocket balloons, raccoons.
So the balloon basically will be carrying the rocket as a payload to a certain altitude, and then when it can no longer sustain probably the yung puputok na yung balloon, because maybe the gas has already inflated it to the point of bursting. Yun na yung moment na pwede mong i-launch yung rocket. Okay. Sige, go on.
So we have Zero to Infinity. It's a startup company also. We're doing that on the raccoons, and also there are also students who are doing that from Stanford University.
Okay.
So as of now, they're also doing that.
Yeah, I really, if there's one big mistake or blunder I did when we're doing this, dapat I should have prepared links, no? Or maybe I will also ask the guests to prepare links that we can actually share. Or maybe since this is this is not a live session, this is pre-recorded. So maybe we can share. You can share to me later those links so that we can include them in the message when we post the video, so that people who are interested in all of these things. Pati nga yung sinabi kong craft that has the rocket plane that launches, I'm going to share that also as a link to the video. Related stuff, yeah. So yeah, okay, I'll go on with my list, no, teka, kasi my screen is really my screen is going nuts again, so I'm going to adjust a bit. Sige, while I'm trying to do this, maybe you can talk more about. Let's talk more about your kahunungan, the the HAB project. So I'm going to. So again, when did the project start? When did the project begin?
The project started. That was about September 2015, if I'm not mistaken, and then it was launched already on April 2016. So. So I'll just read this. Nakaroon ng flight team of St. Cecilia's College, Cebu has been flying high altitude balloons since 2016. So
so matagal na pala. Okay, sorry. Matagal na pala kasi hindi ko nga we're not aware eh. So pero locally ba, like in Cebu, were local media outlets aware that you were already launching this?
Yes. Actually, you can see that one on our YouTube channel. That is St. Cecilia's College for Science Department.
Yeah, we're going to link that. We're going to include that in the list of links.
It's on the playlist, so you can see that Mayong Buntag Kapamilya from ABS-CBN. It's their regional TV is also covering that.
Okay, so they actually covered one of your launches. So there was footage of that. Okay, so give us a brief introduction. Oh, you already gave that introduction on when it started and so on. So how many are you in the team? So I have a picture here of you. There are people wearing lab coats, and you're in a blue shirt.
It's in the science lab.
Yeah. So that is the hub in the center, no?
Yes.
You know what struck me when I first saw this picture? Based on the dimension, do you know what it reminds me of, your hab? Do you know what it reminds me of? Kasi
Oh, what?
makintab siya eh. Tsaka yung meron siyang parang
Para,
seal, yung seal sa
oo,
gitna. Kulang na lang niya apat na ganon. And you know what it is? Di ba? Para siyang Sputnik. It looks like a Sputnik. Yung first satellite ng Soviet Union, ng Russia. It looks just like that, yung mga newsreel when they're showing the assembly of the Sputnik. It's really interesting. So that's the hub itself.
that is our engineering model.
Oh, okay.
So, because it is made up of stainless steel,
Okay.
and it exceeded on our weight restriction.
Oo, kasi mabigat,
that-
stainless steel di ba?
So
Okay.
what we did is we are developing our flight model in terms of we are making fiberglass.
Fiberglass, okay.
So what we did is we are really the ones who are manually doing it,
Okay.
like making the layers.
Did you do studies as regards to materials to be used? Like, how did you arrive
Yes.
at choosing fiberglass for the material?
Because we are studying really, it takes us months on really
Trying to figure
having
out
this yes.
what material to use.
We started with we could use aluminum, and then
Okay.
natural fiberglass, and then eventually if we can do it, we can also use
If funds allow
carbon
it.
fiber
Yeah,
but the problem with
I was about to say carbon fiber. Maybe if you have
but the problem with
thought of-
carbon fiber is the complexity in making spheres of the
Yes,
carbon fiber,
yes,
because
yes.
you need the machine with the thread.
yung
Oo.
curvature kasi, you really have to like make it perfect, no?
Because
That-
on
that
making
is
the mold
indeed,
of it,
yeah.
it's quite complicated. So
Yeah.
parang may robot talaga na bibuild ng thread by thread to make the sphere of the talaga.
So, anong PSI nung what is the pressure inside na na-maintain ninyo?
So what we did is we will really maintain that 15 psi
Okay,
for
15 PSI.
for the quantity, because we are using compressed air. We were planning to use oxygen, the pure oxygen.
Pure oxygen.
So that way we can have a smaller psi on that. But the problem is we are also, because our components are open, so we have not tried also with the pure oxygen on a small psi. So one of our worryings also is on the if it might lit up, and then
Yes. Okay.
it's more on the
Sige, let's do a little bit of what's this, informing our viewers here regarding that, kasi baka they're a bit confused. Kasi this is something that really confused me as a kid din eh. Kasi remember divers when they go into the water, yung mga scuba divers. When I was a kid, I really thought that what they were carrying was compressed oxygen. No? And then later, when I met real divers, the ones who dive, it's funny, I would comment on them na, ilang PSI yung oxygen sa likod mo? Then they would laugh. Then they would say, no, we're not carrying oxygen. We're carrying compressed air.
compressed air.
It's air. It's the air we breathe, which is composed of about 70% nitrogen. Then you have about 29% oxygen, and yung a few trace gases. That's air, no? And that's why it's not that flammable compared to a pure oxygen environment.
Yes.
So yung nakakatakot po, if they put that in their what's this, yung hub, if they put kasi pure oxygen is an oxidizer, meaning it encourages what's this, combustion. So imagine niyo po kung merong doon, like maybe a short circuit, no? In one of your electronics, if
even static lang talaga.
electricity, no?
Yeah,
yung
and
konting
our mice at first, and then
yun nga, furry. Yung passengers po kasi nung kanilang hub is actually mice, no? Yung mga maliliit na lab mice. So since the fur can rub against maybe like a plastic part there inside, can cause a spark, talagang liliyab po yung the inside of the hub.
Just like what happened on the Apollo 1 accident.
Yes, exactly. The first Apollo mission, which is actually just a test, no? It happened in January of, I believe, 1967, when they were testing the first Apollo capsule. Marami pala silang mali in the design. So many flammable materials were inside, and they were pumping in pure oxygen. Kaya, just a simple spark yata yun. Unfortunately yun, the 3 astronauts died.
Died.
Kaya nga, so in this case, even though the loss will not be as great, syempre, it will ruin your research, it will ruin your project. So yun, no, that's 15 psi na air, compressed air. So what were the major problems you encountered while trying to like set it up and get it ready for the launch? Ano yung main were you having issues on, for instance, leaking of the
Yes, we have also issues on leaking because we're trying to get a gasket on our life support system also.
Mm-hmm.
So we were trying to test on different kinds of rubber also, and
Okay.
we tried like we we tested it on a swimming pool at Naga Cebu.
Okay.
So what we did is we closed the swimming pool there. We tried to get a permit from the mayor, and then we submerge it, and then we try to test if there's water inside the capsule, and
Oh, okay.
also eventually on the seashores of Naga also.
Okay.
So that's the way we did it.
I'm not an expert on testing facilities, no, pero kasi when you submerge it in water, parang baliktad yung nangyayari, no. It's the opposite kasi this time around the pressure is outside. So
Yes.
the actual thing when it goes up, it's actually the pressure inside that's trying to get out, 'di ba? Kasi lesser na yung air pressure outside. So wala pa kayong naisip na way to replicate that kind? Kasi wala naman tayong available na yung easily accessible
wala pa
vacuum
kasi
chamber.
dito sa Philippines. So
Really in the entire Philippines? Maybe we should ask around. Maybe the listeners, maybe if you can advise us, some of the engineers there, do you know of any facility that you can do vacuum tests? Kasi ano ba yung dimension noong hab? How small it is?
It's 40 cm yung diameter.
40 cm yung diameter. So it's not that big, di ba? Kasi unlike if you're going to test a whole spacecraft like a capsule, yung kailangan mo talaga nung very large na parang
I don't know
vacuum
if you can
chambers.
do that with decompression chambers, because we have decompression chambers
For
here.
diving, no, sa Navy, baka
For
meron.
diving.
Like sa Philippine Navy, may mga ganun sila like decompression chambers. Yeah, maybe later if you maybe write a letter or something, maybe to help ba? Kasi iba, di ba? Iba, although, that's the best analog you can get. Yung idadunk siya sa pool for checking leaks. Pero iba talaga kasi yung environment wherein it replicates yung almost yung very thin atmosphere and so on. Yeah.
So on our next stages also on the development of this app, after that last launch is we also are planning to make like an aquarium na stuff.
Okay.
Like and then with the compress machine, then get the air out of it, because we have seen also experiments on YouTube like that. So we will get the air out of it, and also we try to get liquid nitrogen or we on dry ice para ma-replicate namin yung stratosphere.
So by the way, how did this came about? I mean, how did you get like funding for the project? I mean, you're being funded by DOSPI.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, sir.
So how did this go about?
Actually, yung sa 2016, what is good about our school, yung sa first na hub talaga namin is our school is the one who is funding this. Actually, all of the fund is from the school when we did our first launch.
Yes.
It's actually about more than 100,000.
So I'm really happy. So Saint Cecilia was really supportive of your project. Yan. Also, yung mga dyan, yung, I mean,
schools talaga.
Schools talaga. I mean, if you're
encouraging
involved in your
schools
school, you're very lucky, no? Kasi, yun nga din, I remember when we were starting our organization, kasi yung organization namin, it was composed of like, may faculty and staff din naman, but a majority, of course, is students. Sometimes it's really difficult to like get the administration aboard of what you're doing. Kung may silbi ba siya, or like, is it, yung one thing talaga na nakita ng institution kasi na parang when we were doing something astronomy related, kakaiba siya. So parang it's eye-catching, it's a good for PR, yung public awareness. Kaya parang in a way, sinuport din kami ng konti. Pero yun nga siguro dito na papasok yung so I believe dito na pumasok din yung ability to campaign for your importante talaga, no? You see, this is where communication comes in. You have to communicate your ideas effectively and campaign well so that your project could be understood and appreciated, di ba? So you're really it's really nice to know that St. Cecilia's was really supportive of your project.
It's a big challenge also that our school is a private school, and also the research culture of the school is not really that dense also. Parang yung research culture is hindi pa talaga ganun ka dito na-imply na sa mga teachers and students. So we're lucky enough also. And then on 1 year after that, actually the UST Fisher has also shared our pictures in terms of what is Cebu would look like from the stratosphere.
Oh,
So
nice. Okay.
they have seen those photos, and they are on the verge of making this what we call the YAP program, or the Young Innovators program, in which they are getting student researchers from high school levels and college levels.
Okay.
So luckily, we're also one of the invited na
Nice.
magko-compete sa
That's great.
sa
That's
program.
nice. That's nice to know.
But
Okay.
there are about 97 to 100 plus of we say proposals from the whole Philippines,
Okay.
and then there are only 7 of those proposals that will be
Oh. Only
So
7.
we were lucky enough also that we're the school from the Visayas and the Mindanao is also with the 7 young innovators.
So you
Along with UP Diliman, with Mapoi University, with International School Manila, and Philippine Science High School.
Yeah, so you see, talagang nag-bear ng fruit yung effort ng school to to support you, because right now, I mean, medyo highly visible ng St. Cecilia because of your efforts. Kaya nga So among you out there who are into who are members of the academe, you can see here na mga ganitong endeavors talaga, which start off sometimes from whimsical ideas, talagang may may talagang in the future may nagbubunga siya no? In many ways, okay? Okay, so
Actually, high altitude ballooning is a great educational tool also for teachers. Like, for example, in physics and astronomy, because you cannot just say to the students like, these are the layers of the atmosphere.
yes.
And then they will just say to you, sir, parang edited naman yun. Parang there is CGI, computer
Yeah.
parang lang. So
Hindi,
this is really great when they see really the stratosphere is there, no? Parang the idea also of a very very it's a idea na may flat earth daw, and then we have spherical earth. So
Yan, very common ngayon, di ba? In fact, yun nga nakakatawa when I was trying to get ideas about what to do in this group, no, mga activities like this, like discussions. One of which was maybe maganda tayo dito, mag-discuss tayo niyan how to deal with this yung sudden influx of yung mga flat earthers. Meron na nga daw Philippine chapter. Have you heard of that? May Philippine chapter na daw.
Oo, papangalan na kita ko na yun. It's an issue way back the Ferdinand Magellan, and it's already proven.
Kaya nga. Anyway, what's this? In the interest of saving time, no, kasi I originally measured this discussion for an hour. So, kaya nga, if you feel na we should be talking more about stuff like this, then show us your support, no, na we could continue something like this. Kasi parang teaser lang natin ito ngayon to get the members be more aware, and also give us, your critique, mga pointers din ninyo on how to improve this kind of session. I know that one of the best things we can actually do is to make this live. Kasi may mga while we are doing this, ang maganda sa live, may mga interaction, like they will have comments and questions, and maybe can you do a Q&A, sir? Kaya niyo mag-do ng Q&A, see? So yeah, we can do something like that. But of course, right now, since we're limited by technology, kaya nga ngayon ko lang nga na-realize na ganito pala, may mga issues with conflicting with the devices, kaya hindi ako maka maka-simultaneous what's this with some of the media that I was about to show, medyo nagka-issue. So ano pa tayo ngayon? Testing phase, trial and error. This is the first episode. So I hope na in the long run we will have more of this, di ba? So si Sir Fred, I know he has more stuff to tell you, and maybe we can even prepare more stuff about it later, and maybe even get his team aboard, di ba? That was our plan. Para we can have more of like a more parang round table discussion on your your project. So yan, Sir Fred was talking about rockets in the initial part of this video, and then later we went on to talking about his yung karunungan, which is the habitat project, no? Yung it's a model of a space habitat na instead of people actually living in that habitat, mga laboratory mice yung ginamit. Pero one thing before before we close this session, I just want to ask, what happened to the mice? Anong nangyari? Yung sa mga first, kasi parang nabasa ko, during the first na mga attempts, parang the mice died. Dun sa first attempt.
On our, this is the fun. Actually, before I will tell about the status of the mice, no? Our permits are on. So before we can do experiments on mice, especially on laboratory mice, we have to get permit. So there's what we call IACOC, so Institutional Animal Care and Use Committee. So we have to really pass that parang review.
Kasi
with the manuscript,
anuhin kayo nung yung ano ba yun?
Yung DNR
tsaka yung
Bureau of Animal Industry.
For local, no? Kasi meron din yung mga organizations na, lalo na kung online, malaman yung mga ganitong activity. Meron yung parang PETA ba yan? And yung SPCA, yung Society of Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Yeah, but no. I mean, from my standpoint, this is laboratory mice. I mean, kaya their role is, yan yung kanilang sacrifice for contribution to science.
The sake of science, talaga.
So yun kaya pero no, I was just curious kasi yung towards the last na what's this, the fourth launch ba?
It's the third launch.
Yung third launch, yung parang instead of having the mice, parang may analog na lang ka rin kayo for the mice, right?
So we use cotton on it because that's the suggestion from our veterinarian. We have two mission consultants. So we have one veterinarian and one medical doctor.
Okay.
So while our investigation is not yet done regarding the death of the mice on our last launch. So
we have inaano pa ngayon, research pa kung what actually caused it.
So what happened to the mice on our second launch? Actually, it's on May 8, 2018.
This year.
Is actually we've got a footage. We were also very happy on it because the lifespan of the mice, actually our life support system could support the mice in 4 hours.
Okay, 4 hours.
So because the typical balloon flight is 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. So we have about 1 to 2 hours for the recovery of the life support system.
Okay.
So what happened on the May 8 mice? There's a bit of a parang circumstances na yung ascent rate ng balloon is parang bumabagal siya.
Okay.
So what we did, parang yung flight niya is very slow.
Na-extend tuloy.
So instead of 2 to 3 hours, so what the balloon, the flight of the balloon is about 10 hours.
Wow.
And then what happened is from Cebu, like Minglanilla here, from Minglanilla, and then it goes by Cebu, and then go to the Tanmian Strait, and then after Tanmian Strait, Negros, and then after Negros is going to another, parang
so where did it land?
Going to,
so did you recovered it? Now where did you eventually recover it?
From Hinubaan, Negros Occidental.
Wow, look at the so may
parang your recovery is more than 24 hours.
Wow.
So that is why there's also a bit of a mishandling from the fishermen also. Parang yunog na yung life support system. At saka there's an impact on this what we call the copper tubing. which is
Okay.
the external copper tubing of the compressed air tank.
Mm.
So what happened is during the landing, parang
May
may
impact.
merong hard na may
Mm.
impact.
Mm.
So doon yung nag parang nag-break yung copper tubing, and then yung seawater is doon nag-pass
Pumasok.
through.
So,
Pumasok.
napasukan siya ng seawater.
Yes. Oo. So that is why on our next na mga designs ng yung compressed air tank is internal na siya.
Oo, para hindi siya ma-affect na meaning, kasi yun, there's the likelihood na baka actually nag-survive sila, pero at the point
Yes.
na it's just like yung may mga cases na ganyan yung, I believe, one of the celebrated, hindi naman
Laika?
talaga
Okay.
hindi. This is involved humans, no? Yung one of the celebrated deaths that astronauts, that happened to astronauts sa Russians, yung they actually died during re-entry kasi, meaning, re-entry actually went well pero parang somewhere during, at around, I don't know anong altitude, doon nag-start yung leaking. So that's why, when the astronauts reached the Earth, they were already dead. No, pero
So
actually,
we can see that recovery talaga is very important also.
kaya nga. So, kaya nga, in your case, you really have to investigate pa kung ano talaga yung actual cause. So, see? Kaya nga, to the listeners, ano talaga
More questions and developments for that.
ang sagot ko palagi dyan, yung usual kong isinasagot, lalo na pag naglalaro ng curveball, tapos yung racket mo, yung common. Space is hard.
Yeah.
Yun talaga. I mean, when you're dealing with space talaga, it's very frustrating. I mean, you're talking about trying to reach a velocity. I mean, orbital speed. Imagine mo, 7.5 or 7.4 kilometers per second. So, and ito nga, hindi nga orbital flight ito. It's just trying to reach in the higher levels of the atmosphere.
Parang above the Armstrong line, which is the line wherein parang maboboil na yung blood.
Your blood would boil. From what altitude did Baumgartner jump?
Actually, it's more of the same with the altitude that we've gone.
Yan. Ganun, no? The same altitude. If you guys remember yung Stephen Baumgartner, yung he made his Felix Baumgartner made his jump na yung parang jump from space, which hindi naman talaga space, di ba? Pero near space. Pero high altitude jump. So ganun palang mga altitudes na reach nung hab ninyo, no?
Yes, sir.
But again, see, I hope na-wet natin yung appetite ng ating mga listeners, because we're going to go back again to talking about your hub, maybe in more detail and maybe part of your team. But this was a great way to start or kick off this sort of activity for the group. Now we have talks like this. Kasi hindi lang ikaw, I'm going to also so na kayo, magbantay na kayo. Watch out yung iba ditong mga members who are siguro i-announce ko na kung ano yung mga iba kung
But before you will announce her, I have also a message for the educators now.
Okay,
Because what is also amazing with this project is also our students who are doing this. They're student researcher right from the start. They are doing this on summer vacation.
Okay.
And when you say summer vacation and also on the after classes, so they are not expecting to have grades for this one. So parang ito siya is learning outside the four walls of the classroom.
Outside of the classroom, yes.
Parang it's not on extrinsic motivation na may good grades ako pag ginawa ko to, but intrinsic motivation na he knows that self-satisfaction of that and for the betterment of the community and the country also.
And not only that, kasi this is the thing about space You remember, I don't know if you saw it, I posted it last night. Kasi last night, there was a big announcement at NASA, the nine new astronauts that will be launching from US soil, di ba? From
Starliner.
Yung Starliner and the SpaceX Dragon, Crew Dragon. One of the astronauts, ang ganda nung sinabi niya Sabi niya ganun. Kasi ang tanong nakakatawa are you excited? Parang medyo it's a stupid question, no? Parang sabi nung reporter yata, are you excited with the upcoming launches? Parang ang sagot niya, of course we're excited. If you're not excited, I mean, you should not be in this line of work if you're not excited. We're constantly excited. So, in line with what you said, kaya I believe the kids are motivated by doing this kasi it's actually the excitement that you're doing something is somehow related to space activities And yung talagang, it's just a natural curiosity, no? Of course, it would be nice if you get bonus on your grades, or maybe some other incentive will be available na para for you to do this. Pero ang galing kasi sometimes, I mean, when I was a kid, anything talaga na na involving space talaga, I would really like, if I were to exert effort on it, talaga I will give 100% kasi nga it's about space. It's something na in line with my interests. So it's really great what you're doing at St. Cecilia's and encouraging these kids kasi yun nga, I mean, you are setting a path for them I mean, if well, of course we cannot really dictate kung ano talaga yung gusto nila or what will happen to them, pero just setting that path is already a good start kasi they baka yung thinking nila before, gusto ko sanang mag-STEM na related na na course, baka pero magasto, hindi rin kaya ng parents ko. Pero with these little activities, constant yung push yung parang hindi na-divert yung nila, yung attention and so on. So I think it's really great yung yung what's this, yung parang you're pushing into that direction. Pero hindi naman siya forcible, we're not implying na you're forcing them, pero minsan a little push here and there is is important.
Because of our age, especially for millennials, they are like distracted with many things. Like NASA is one of the problems also of NASA, because they really want to encourage students to take science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and they are going to social media also. NASA is going to social media and asking many celebrities and in science to do this, like science communicators, so that we can encourage more students for that. And especially in the Philippines, we are also in need of those researchers and scientists here, because out of 10,000, we have only one scientist for that, and we need 3 every 1,000, 10,000.
Yes,
people.
I agree. Okay, so I think we would conclude now this session. Thank you very much, Sir Fred.
Thank you so much
for contributing to our endeavor of trying to reach out and letting people who are interested in space science, astronomy, be more involved and maybe get more ideas, and maybe participate in the future in such discussions that we're doing right now. So bye-bye everyone, and I hope you learned something from this discussion. And Sir Fred, hindi pa tayo tapos. We're going to plan out a more lengthy, probably, not necessarily lengthy kasi nga we have to cut it in segments like mga 1 hour para siya palatable to people, kasi yun nga, we have so many busy schedules. Minsan yung reklamo ng iba, lalo na pag live, yun ang reklamo ng iba kasi pag live na sayang, baka pag that time may klase ako or may ginagawa ako, hindi ako makakapanood ng live. Although minsan naman kasi with Facebook, sinisave naman niya automatically as a post-recorded na event. Pero still, much better yung yung inaano natin, kinakat into segments kasi para mas matakal talaga natin in depth yung whatever topics that we are discussing.
I'm also open for it. No problem, as long as we can contribute to our.
So again, kayo, yung mga members ng group, maybe after this session, you can post as comments your additional ideas or suggestions on how to make this sort of interaction, discussion better. Kasi alam ko, there are lots of great, bright minds in this group and I know they can contribute a lot. Sige, ang i-mention ko na lang as teaser, maybe I want the next person, maganda na. The one person I really would like to hear from and to have a discussion with us would be si Dr. Jonathan Maglasang of MSUIIT, to talk to us about aerospace and his bakit yan yung line of interest niya. And he's also into robotics. So Sir Jonathan, if you're watching this video, maganda kayo, sir, kasi you're going to be part of this discussion and hope to see you in the future. Maybe even with you, Sir Fred. Yun maganda, di ba? Parang marami tayo in that sort of discussion. So for this particular session, it's bye-bye. So bye, sir. Thank you for the time.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.